I'm pleased to have with us in our first segment, because this show is about talking about economic development, job creation, our members in the business community, Bob Cox, who is not only a member of the Chamber Board of Directors, but is the new managing partner at a prestigious long-term local law firm with statewide footprint, Bowditch Dewey.
That's right. Tim, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, well, Bob, congratulations on the new role as managing partner at Bowditch Dewey. And maybe for some of our viewers who might not be familiar with Bowditch Dewey, you could tell us a little bit about the firm.
Bowditch Dewey is a firm of about 60 attorneys. We've been in Worcester for 103 years. We have an office here. We have an office in Framingham and also in Boston. And I've been managing partner for a total of 16 days now.
There you go.
But there's been quite a transition to get to this point. So I'm excited to take this on and have this new role and help us, especially in Worcester.
So we're going to talk a little bit about succession planning for companies and for families and businesses. But your background as an attorney, you've got the experienced attorney, but some areas of expertise where we've had a chance to work together over the years, like brownfields remediation, environmental issues.
Right. So I've been practicing for over 30 years, mostly primarily in environmental law. And a lot of that has been dealing with contaminated properties, which gets into brownfields redevelopment. That is looking at urban areas, especially Worcester, where there's a lot of historic contamination, and using different tools that the government provides, that our state provides, and EPA even provides, to facilitate the cleanup of contaminated properties. We've done a lot of that in Worcester, and a lot of brownfield sites in Worcester that still need some attention. And
a lot of, that's part of the legacy of older manufacturing cities, but Worcester, through good attorneys like yourself, through these programs, to be able to clean up a lot of those brownfield sites and put them back to productive use.
That's exactly right. And Tim, you were at the forefront of this a while ago when you were mayor. Looking at the brownfield sites. A little while ago.
But you know, in that regard, you're also kind of a Worcester native.
I'm a Worcester guy. We
were talking before we went on air. Adams Square School.
Adams Square School, which no longer exists. Walwikas Road, Burncoat Junior High School, and then I went off to do other things.
There you go. All right. Well, you know, it's a common issue that we hear for businesses of all different sizes. You know, how do you build a talent turnpike for people to take leadership positions in companies, succession planning? You're going to share with us a little bit about, you know, how companies and organizations might think about doing that.
Okay, so we've been spending a lot of time looking at transition and succession planning, and really to build our attorneys for the next generation. And it applies not only to us, but really the professional service industry. Attorneys, doctors, accountants, bankers, financial advisors. It's affecting all these professional services. And I'd like to start by giving you some data or statistics. So first, what we see is the millennial generation, those that are born between 1980 and around 2000. This is the last generation of the 20th century. So the stats here are these, that by 2020, 1 in 4 workers will be from this group, from the millennial. By 2025, that will constitute 70% of the workforce. On the other side, you look at the baby boomers, which I'm very much a part of, in the ages of 58 to 68, which of course doesn't include you, right? We control, this group controls a significant portion of client relationships, of business relationships. And over the next 10 years, 65% of the boomers will retire. And many have ownership stakes in their business. This is referred to as the silver tsunami in the press, because it'd be this large group that would be suddenly facing retirement age. And it is the children, our children, the baby boomers, that will be lined up, the next generation to take over. So the question is, how do you plan for this? And when do you start planning for it? On the legal side, we see, based upon data, about only 30% of U.S. law firms have put together succession plans.
Wow.
We're happy to be among those that have put together succession plans.
And then it's your job as the new managing partner to implement it, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Here, Bob, do this.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, the data, I think, really puts some context to something, and I've shared it on the show and talked about it pretty regularly at the Chamber, but the single biggest issue that we hear from our member businesses, regardless of the size of the company or the sector they're in, and law firms are no different, is that talent turnpike. You know, where is the workforce coming from? not only to kind of entry-level jobs, but then the ladder within a company. So, you know, there's a specific kind of approach and thought process of how you engage millennials, because how they were brought up, they're technology savvy, you know, because they've grown up in that, and how do you engage and provide a workplace where they want to come and work and be a part of it?
So we find that there are many different types of communications that need to take place and different needs of the different players. We find that the mid-level junior professionals, they want transparency. They want to know what we're doing. They want to see a path forward in their career. So that's one thing that needs to be focused on.
Right.
The other aspect are our clients. Clients want assurance that their needs will be met going forward. They want to make sure they'll get the same care, respect, and skill set for them. So the attorney and clients need to work through that type of relationship.
And you know, and that's you know, usually when people are engaging a lawyer, you know, this serious issues, or they feel the need that they want to have something done, you know, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, so that customer care and customer relations is an expectation.
Absolutely, because it's a trusted relationship, and it can be, we find, emotional.
Right.
when you talk about, well, I want to make a change and I want to have you work with somebody else. So the conversations can be difficult. The conversations take time. I mean, we look at it seriously, and I think what we see in the industry, that it needs to be approached almost like a major transition in one's life, whether it's a death or a divorce. It takes time, and the earlier, and we find that people go through different stages to accept what needs to be done in their own careers, and also to make transitions to other attorneys. Right,
and so that's something you're implementing also at the firm, but also kind of working with your companies and members to think about it themselves in their own workplace.
That's right. Yeah, and it's a process, as I said. And the key we find are a few things. One is to talk about it, not wait till someone says, "Oh, I'm going to retire tomorrow," but talk about it. Recognize that it'll take stages. Recognize that it's not easy, and do it constantly. It also involves analyzing our talent and analyzing our firm, our talent pool, to look for issues that may be arising so that we can talk about those too. It's also a matter of identifying the successors. So looking across the board at the attorneys that we have, or any professional services, of who you have there that may help out and step in. Part of that includes training. Training not only on legal issues, which is important, but also on client relationship management, training on supervisory type skills, training on business development skills as well, and technology. And we make sure that as we do this planning exercise, we are able to identify gaps in our demographics and potential future issues. And the important part is engaging our clients early on and having discussions with them.
Yeah, understanding that at some point in time there will be, and bringing people into the process so that you're building that trust.
Correct. That's right. Yeah.
Well, Bob, we appreciate you being with us. We appreciate Bowditch and Dewey supporting the chamber and being involved in the role that it plays in lots of different levels in the community, and look forward to having you come back. We'll dig into some other legal issues and economic development, brownfields. But
love
congratulations on the new role, and thanks for being with us.